I know. It's been like a month. I get it. I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me. I've just been busy. Honestly, I've been busy. I travel for work quite often. Family stuff comes up. That's all the explanation you need. Regardless, we're here, we're back. We're going to go over the settings for that clean tone. That ambient clean tone. I think it's the last video I did. Check it out. I'm not going to point into a corner. Check out the video. Let's go over those settings. Alright, here we go. And forgive my awkward setup. I got a whole thing going on here. We'll go over that another time. Alright, here we are. We're in here. Ah, it's so lush and beautiful. Okay. So, I don't have... what are we talking about here? I don't have the input gate on. No gate on this one. Clean guitar. The first block is a compressor. It is the red squeeze. The sensitivity is at 4.4. The mix is at 100%. And the level is at 5.4 dB. So let me turn off my delays and verbs and give you guys an idea of what it sounds like. So this is with compression. This is without compression. It's pretty hot. I wanted, for this particular clean tone, I wanted all my notes to kind of be flattened out. Basically, ignore my deviations in picking hardness. So basically what it does, I don't need to explain compression to you guys, do I? No. I don't need to do it. It's leveling, it's making all the notes relatively the same volume. Then I have the Jazz Rivet 120. So what is that? That's based off of a Roland, that Roland clean amp. I can't think of the name right now. What do we got going on here? The drive is at 7.6. The bass is at 3.6. The mid is at 1.6. The treble is at 5.8. The presence is at 8.5. Channel volume is at 10. The master is at 6.6. And the bright is at 8.4. Nice. Then we have an IR block. It's an Ownhammer IR block. I'm not sponsored by them, but I just like their... I like their IRs. They're awesome. I've been... It's ringing. I've been loving the one of their newest ones. It's a 412 Zilla cab. So I'm using that here. The OH412 ZLNG V30 vintage 30s. D57M+RFAT. So this is a combination IR. It's a mix of a 57 dark. D means dark 57, so they rolled off the highs. And a RFAT, a ribbon mic, a fat ribbon mic. So they didn't roll off the lows on the ribbon mic, and they combined it to make this beautiful IR. Now, I have it splitting into an A and B path. The top path is, and I'll just have the top path, the only one playing. The top path has my typical, because I created it. The top path is has a reverb block, the room reverb that I typically use in most of my patches. So that's just adding some room to. Not a ton. Dry with the room. Hopefully you guys are able to hear that. It's subtle. Let's turn it up a little. It kind of livens it up a little bit. So we had it at 16%. So that's just one path. That's just the clean guitar with the compression going into a simple room reverb. Now the second path is basically, I'm sort of sidechaining delay and a more lush, massive reverb. So let's add that back in. Well, I gotta turn them on. Turn the delay on, turn the reverb on. Sounds pretty badass. So let's just hear what that path is doing. So if I turn down the path A, this is just the path with that delay and that super lush reverb. You can hear that it's pretty much mostly wet, mostly a wet signal. So it's mostly delay, it's mostly that lush reverb. The mix on the delay is 45%, and the mix on this reverb is 30%, which is pretty high typically for stuff that I do. So let's look at this delay. So on this second path, I have the vintage delay. The time is at 500 milliseconds. The feedback is 45%. See what that was? This is just the delay. %. The bit depth is 12 bits. I kind of like that lo-fi delay sound. Then we have a sample rate. Is it? Sample rate 16 kilohertz. The mix is at 45%, like I said. The level is at 0 dB. The rate is at 200.200 hertz. I don't think, well, I probably lowered that. It's modulation. I don't want any. The depth is at 2. The headroom is at 0, and I don't have the tails on because I'm not switching between patches. So that's just that vintage delay. And it's mono, as you can hear. Then we have the delay, or the reverb, which is stereo. I'm using the Glitz block. The decay is 6.9. The pre-delay is 18 milliseconds. Low cut is 180. High cut is 16K. The mix is at 30. The level's at 0 dB. The delay is 64 milliseconds. The rate 1.84 hertz. Depth 3.8. Crossover 900 hertz. Modulation mix is at 5. So there is a little bit of modulation going on with this reverb. You can hear a little bit of waver. That's what that is. And the tails I have off. So if you can see here, I'm cutting at 180 hertz, and I'm cutting at 16K. So I'm cutting a lot of lows, and I'm cutting a lot of high. Cutting a lot of high. I'm cutting some of the high end. Then I have this EQ, which is cutting substantial amounts of frequency. So this is just the simple low and high cut. The low is at 160, and the high cut is down to 2K because I like my delays and my reverbs to kind of sound dull is a bad word, but I'm going to use that word, dull, a little dull. So if we just listen like we are, just listening to this delay, not super bright, not super ringy. Let's take this off. Now see, that's very bright, very chimey, and it could serve a purpose, but I like to roll that stuff off. Excuse me, because I have my clean guitar level. I'll bring that up. My clean guitar is what's providing the actual tone. So I don't want my reverb and delay to kind of emphasize muddy frequencies or, you know, take over the whole tone itself. So that delay and reverb is tucked in behind it, while still being super lush. And then I have it combining back in, and that's it. That's my clean tone. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. I think you could probably get away with using this on the HX Stomp. But you could get rid of this EQ block and just cut all the way down to 2K here. You could probably get the same effect, now that I'm thinking about it, but this is the way I had it set up, so you could definitely get away with this on the HX Stomp. Boom, there we go. My clean guitar tone. Again, apologies for this taking so incredibly long to come out. Truth be told, I had recorded it and then I had to give somebody my memory card and forgot that this entire video was on that memory card. So here we are, recording it again for the first time. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Thanks so much to all the new subscribers. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the love. Appreciate all the comments. You guys are awesome. If you haven't yet, I have an EP and a new single on Spotify and iTunes and Bandcamp. If you'd like to support me and the channel, that's a good way of doing so, is buying the album, buying the single. I do have another single in the works that should be coming out in the next few weeks. I'll have more details for that very soon. I'm just working on a cover. So until that time, hopefully I can get back in the swing of this and start producing more of the regular content you guys are used to. So once again, thanks again for your patience and all your support, and we will see you in the next one.